Hi, good morning. My name is Sean Michael Walker, and this is Loretta from Bundle B Insurance, and this is the podcast. What is the name of our podcast? Insurance You Indemnify Me. You would think after like 15 episodes, I would know what the name of my own podcast is, but Insurance You Indemnify Me. Thank you so much, Loretta, for being on the podcast with me today.
Well,
How are you doing?
Thanks for the invite. My excuse
welcome.
to come visit your beautiful new office.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah, no hay de qué, no hay de queso, nada más de papas.
That's exactly
From
right.
El Chavo de Ocho, right? If you notice, everybody, we've got Bundle B's brand all over our desk today. We got the Yetis, we got the hats, we got the shirts, we got it all. I just want to start out by saying, Loretta, and maybe you can tell me the story behind it, but I believe I've never heard a more awesome insurance agency name than Bundle B Insurance Agency. So congratulations. When I think about insurance agencies, my wife has one called Walker Insurance, and there's all these different insurance agencies. We deal with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and I've met thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of agencies across the course of my almost 20-year career. And I don't think I've come or run across a cuter name than Bundle B Insurance. So how did you come up with it? How'd you guys find it?
Well, first off, we were a captive agent for so long, and one of the frustrations that we had was when we'd advertise, you're advertising for 150 agents around you.
Yeah.
So even within that captive agency, we developed a logo that was DIA, that was Dominguez Insurance Agency, and it didn't look like, a captive.
Yeah.
So we had that going probably about 7 years against their wishes, but still were able to get our own marketing and things out there. So when this one came across, really Oscar was the one who came up with, why don't we really hire out a company?
Yeah.
We ended up choosing one in New York that had collectives, people of talent. I am huge on Fiverr. I'm huge on just collective talent. I love that the global can throw their their ideas in and things like that. And it's not when you're developing this, when we were looking at, and I still am, we're looking at branding this throughout Texas. So this is going to be a Texas brand. And so when you start looking at the names that are coming out in the industry, it's simplicity of roots or lemonade or stuff like that.
Simple one word things.
Simple one word, and clean.
Yeah.
Clean, not stuffy old boring kind of insurance look. And we've been in the industry we're going on a 38th year now.
Wow.
And the evolution of what we're seeing that it's going to is we wanted something clean, happy, bright.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting about this was a 6-month endeavor because
6 months of working with the New York marketing firm to dial it in.
Right. All these, you basically have to give them a theme of what your idea is about. What do you want to say in your name?
Yeah.
Then once you did that, it was really cool to see all these collectives come in. I had 1,400 entries that I went through that, we finally came down to 5. They take them to beta testing.
Yeah.
With those 5, they take them to beta testing with your tagline that you've decided to use, colors, fonts. So really you're not creating it on your own, but it is a daunting kind of
task to get it all dialed in.
But I'm glad we did it.
I remember you were here a couple years ago, maybe 3. How long has it been? How long have you guys had Bundle B?
We 4 years? September of 2019.
2019. So coming up on 4 years ish, 3 years. So I remember you guys were here maybe 3 years ago, and you showed me the brand Bundle B, maybe the sign had just gone up on the building or something, and I was like, whoa, this is an absolutely perfect name for an insurance agency. So I just absolutely love it.
There was just so much excitement between the three of us because we are huge personalities in different ways, and we were so tired of being stifled. And so once you got us out, we were like kids going to the first year of college. We were out of control.
Yeah. You're saying out of captivity and into independence.
Oh, you guys get
were
out of there.
We can have a lot of fun now.
Now we can have a lot of fun. We could develop what we wanted as fast as we wanted, the way we wanted.
Yeah. All right. Let's start from scratch. Who is Loretta? Let's start from the beginning. Give me
that was the easiest
question. Give me the Loretta down run.
The down run is...
The rundown, I guess, is the right...
The rundown. Loretta Dominguez is a very blessed, lucky person who's a wife, a mother, abuelita or Lita, grandmother,
Is Coco your favorite movie?
How did you know?
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
Like number one, it goes up to the top.
You should see
It's a really good movie. What did you think about Encanto, though? I didn't really dig it.
Encanto was good, but I also, there was a movie before Coco, and I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Oh,
it was
I know. It's The Book of Life. Is that it?
Because
there's a song in that my little 6-year-old sings all the time. It goes, I love you too much. He sings it with a very thick, is this the one? Is this the story?
Yes.
He goes, I love you too much. Heaven's my witness. I don't even know what it says, how it goes. But
I thought that
it's a cute song.
Beautiful
super
series.
cute. Super cute.
Yeah. Super cute. So
Coco's number one, though.
Coco's number one. Well,
how many grandkids?
I have two grandbabies.
Okay.
Victoria, that's the only reason why Victoria stays alive in my book.
She's the third A-type personality that you were referring to, right?
Yes,
so you've mentioned
so.
Oscar, now you're talking about Victoria. Got
very
it.
much so. Very much so. She thinks she's a boss of me. I have to remind her. But anyway, just the coming out and, with the entrepreneur is what we are before we're anything else. We really are. Right. Oscar and I had that so much in common.
Yeah.
And being an insurance agent, we both, we were young when we started. I was thinking about it the other day. I was talking to him and I said, do you realize that when I was making this decision, I was 20?
Wow.
I was sitting there and I said, I found a like-minded individual. The other thing that the insurance industry, we loved it as the business model that it was, but we also love, I see that we just love mentoring. Yeah. That's been something that we've done over the years, and that is that's another thing that's changed a bunch.
You guys take that really seriously too. I think you more than many agencies that I talk to talk a lot about mentoring and helping young kids in the next generation find their way, right?
And if there's been any generation that needs it, it's this one.
Yeah.
And so, it pretty much encompasses most of our day where we take care of the grandkids every other week, and so that Victoria...
So that Victoria can actually work.
Well, work nothing. She's going to go out there and party with her husband. That's what she's going to do.
Oh, okay.
But no, we're pretty close-knit pack, the three of us. We work very well together.
As long as we're joking about Victoria, TikTok, I'm sure we'll get to like everything that you're doing from like a social media perspective and like how you market and all that kind of stuff. But Victoria's like out there with TikTok, and is it working for the agency? Does the agency get a ton of followers, a ton of views, a ton of business from the TikTok channel?
I have to laugh about this because Victoria was my child that I was always pulling from behind my leg because she was so shy.
Right.
So I don't know what went
that
wrong. I think it was college. It was college.
Yeah. Well, she was homeschooled, and then you sent her off to college.
There you go. There's my point. She was sheltered. She broke out. And so
we should ask her what her breakout moment was.
Well,
like where she went. This is where, boom, I became.
It's so funny that you shouldn't really dictate your kids' lives.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Okay. You never know how it's going to come out. You shouldn't worry so much. Because she went off to college and I thought, gosh, she's my eldest and we're so close and she's going to miss me so much. And
she didn't?
No, she didn't. I couldn't find her from Wednesday to Sunday. After, she knew that her dad cooked gourmet dinners on Sunday and she'd call to see what we were having. So as soon as Wednesday came I wasn't going to hear from her with the Notre Dame games and all the stuff like that. I wasn't. But what's amazing is that I think that she was very privileged to have the opportunity to work in Washington a little bit with lobbyists. She, while she was, she got the opportunity, she was supposed to go directly into law school, decided that she wanted to delay that because she was tired of school, took a position with the Diamondbacks with men. In a tough arena.
Must have been the breakout
moment. I think that was a great one because she always worked in the agency and we always had them selling. With us. I don't care how old they were. You're going to help sell.
Get on the phones.
I think that arena, and then she went with the Oakland A's, and then she came back to El Paso, and then she met out of a fluke, out of a blind date picture that one of the mortgage company girls we were holding and a dinner meeting, and she said, what kind of guys do you like? And she says, the ones that don't exist in El Paso. You're not going to find, I want my 6-foot Indiana boys. And all of a sudden, she said, really? You like that kind of guy? My boss. And I said, please, she's leaving. Don't do that. She's going to go to the San Antonio Spurs. And sure enough, she sent that picture to Justin, and sure enough, that's how they went on one date. They went on one date. She was walking out of the house with a dress this big, and I said, go put some clothes on. So she said, I'll be right back. I'm going to go break somebody's heart. And then she came back and she said, I just found my husband.
Wow.
And I had never met.
He probably said the same thing, too.
He did. He tells
probably went
the
back to
story
whoever
exactly
his
the
guys
same way.
were, or whoever his support group was. And I think I found the girl.
But it was quite a miracle that she ended up landing back in El Paso, because she had been several places. And for her to stay
find
there
the
with
right
us.
guy in El Paso, too. That's crazy.
And in the same kind of industry. Like he's in the mortgage industry. So they had so much in common. Eldest, both parents.
And Loretta and Oscar are like, yes, this guy can send us leads.
No, on the contrary. I was like, no, get her out of here. Get her out of here. She's a handful after 8 years of being gone.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So TikTok, back to TikTok. Is it working?
Okay,
Is it like the thing? Is it functioning? Does it work on behalf of the agency?
I think
they crack me up, and they're all over the place.
And I thank God she doesn't look like me. I don't even have to say that I
don't know.
her.
I think you guys kind of look a bit alike.
I hope not. I hope she looks like her dad. Some of the stuff that she puts out there, I'm like, Jiminy Christmas, Victoria, Jiminy Christmas. But TikTok, I think, does a whole lot. It's a whole lot of work, though, because I see her doing it.
Yeah.
And it's a dedication to a following of people.
Right.
And we do get a good amount of people that say, I watch that crazy girl that you all have, the Bundlebee girl that you all have, and I don't tell them she's my daughter.
Yeah, right.
And so that, I think, during COVID, what really hurt is that she had gotten going on the podcast scene. And,
I saw that. She started
like that.
early on the podcast, like Wine with Victoria or something like that.
Get your buzz on?
Yeah, there you go. That was it.
That was a fun one. That was a fun one.
What a great little play on words. I love it. I love it.
Just saying.
Love it.
There's so many plays on that, and that's another reason why we really like that. But she works really hard on the social media, and she works really hard on, one of the things she has going all the time is we have a thread between all of us in the office, except for Oscar, on agents looking for quotes, loan officers looking for this, so we're constantly email, texting that they're needing quotes because of her following on, Instagram and all those channels. But TikTok, I think she has really come to really love it, except the other day I heard her screaming in the back office saying, they took the filters off. Jackie, they took the... And I'm, not knowing what she's talking about. Yeah. She's in a panic.
Yeah.
She says, you don't understand. It's another step for me to have to take.
Well, I always find it interesting. Like, I know maybe... I don't know. Maybe I know 10 agents who have really gone hard down the TikTok road. And Daniel Song, for example, he's out in California, has over 1 million followers, and
cool.
And it just blows my mind. Aaron out in New York, he has a TikTok thing, and it just blows my mind that the TikTok thing is working, and it's a great little platform to jump off of. So it's working.
It depends on the demographics too, because remember, you have to choose a Well, I say, if you're going to get the bang for your buck, you have to choose your demographics coming in, and I think that ours was pretty much from about 28 years to about 70. That was our demographic we were looking at. And so
new homeowners up to,
for the most part, it's really funny the way our book is broken down, because we happen to, by the grace of God, because we had great relationships within the city, but Victoria took it out of the office and started really marketing it throughout the city. And now it's getting to be state, because we're getting state calls. But I think that she went and she took something that we already were doing, and she made it better with coming in first off with, with the Facebook stuff. She started Instagram stuff. She started podcasting. She started, when COVID hit, Oscar was about to get her. This is crazy, okay? Because we're crazy. There's nothing I can say. The social media.
Dominguez family is crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy people, crazy. I think by trade, all of us are marketers too. And so he said to her, Victoria, I think I'm going to get you a pull trailer, because our whole thing is bring the party. We bring the party.
Oh, okay.
So if, say, a realtor's going to have an open house or the parade of homes, or
we'll bring the party.
We bring the party. And so he said, I think I'm going to think about getting you one of those small homes, those that you can pull around.
A tiny home kind of thing. Oh, I see.
And that would be our
the party central. On. Yeah, I get it.
Get the buzz on.
Yeah.
And so then everything started to happen with COVID, because we were super excited coming out of the gate with you guys. September, 2019. Here we go into 2020.
Yeah, right into it.
Yeah, right into it. And really thank God, we didn't even think twice about COVID. We didn't think twice about, we just kept rolling.
Yeah.
We kept doing what we needed to do and adapting the way we need to. So
yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what makes insurance fun to you? What makes insurance foxy or fun, or the place that you love being?
Well, first off, the reason why Oscar and I even considered it over, we were commission sales. So what made it foxy to us is going to be the money, and it's always going to be the incremental increases that you have, the residual. Right. That was the driving point why we didn't go into other industries.
Yeah. What was the road to get to where you're at today, Bundlebee? Let's say Bundlebee is where you're at today. What was the road to Bundlebee? So you said 38 years, even though you're only 41.
I know,
which is hard to believe.
It's like Benjamin Button.
I know,
backwards.
it's amazing.
That's what I've been saying. I mean, they don't. My family doesn't understand that, but I do.
I understand it.
Yeah,
I saw the movie once, 20 years ago.
No. I mean,
So what's the road? What got you here? You guys started Farmers.
Mm-hmm. We actually, the road that got us here is a funny story because we both were in commission sales. We both were looking between the real estate industry and the insurance industry. Yeah. Then we decided to look at insurance companies, and then Farmers at that time was the underdog. Yeah. They were the third in the lineup, and they hadn't, we were interested in going with a group that was on its way up. And so just so happened I was pregnant with Victoria, and an 18-wheeler hit me. And in
real life, an 18-wheeler hit me.
18-wheeler
You said that just like so smoothly. I was like, and then we was pregnant with the guy.
And I couldn't get the agent to turn in the claim. And Oscar finally had to go to the district office, just so happened, synchronicity. And he said, hey, I'd been considering insurance, and I can't get Loretta's car fixed. This agent won't turn in the claim. And so that's how his career started with Farmers. Wow. And I supported their career for 7 years working. I was in commission sales, furniture sales. And when we decided to make the jump into me quitting, I said, we're going to be so poor unless we work hard. We're going to be so poor. And so Victoria was just going, by that time was just going into first grade. And we doubled the agency that year. I said, we never looked back.
Let's go all in.
Yeah. That's you have to have a partner in life. You have to have a partner with a commitment.
It's funny you say that because the last podcast I did, it was Chad Maxey, and he was talking about how much his wife supports him through all of it. Yeah. And she's in the agency too, swinging the bat with him and getting things done. But I think the point that was made was once you have your significant other on board and says, I believe in you, this is going to happen, let's believe in each other, let's go all in. It's almost like failure can't even happen. Well, I mean, it's like nothing can stop this energy, at this point.
Well, I think the secret sauce to
a good marriage. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I can give you that one too. the secret sauce to an agency, even like PGI, is it's kind of a tough thing. If you can get couples, because all the awards ceremonies that we ever were part of, and by 80%, the agents, it was a duo team. Yeah, it was husband and wife teams. Right. And the younger you can get them to understand the concept of insurance and how you make money, because the young kids, they think of insurance as stuffy. Now, Victoria's generation will change that, because they're making it hip and up there, and you need to attract that young talent. Yeah. But you need to attract the young talent that understands that you're delaying having or spending money to reinvest in yourself, to really have a super great time at my age. Right. Yeah. And how do you get that across to these young people? I don't know. Yeah. But I think they'll come around.
They'll come around. They just need to... I think, it's kind of like name your own price, right? Where it's like, that sounds good to a specific segment of the U.S., but at some point you own something worth more, right? You suddenly aren't buying like garage sale furniture to furnish your apartment. You're suddenly buying, a slightly higher level of furniture. And then at some point you're going to the Ethan Allen store, buying and filling your house with gorgeous furniture, expensive furniture. And, I just think the younger generation needs to acquire some assets before they start going, wait a second, this $8,000 mountain bike I just bought, is it insured properly? Because if this thing gets robbed, I'm going to be livid if I'm not protected from the loss of my $8,000 mountain bike. So I think they've just simply put like their money in different buckets. Like you and I might go, $8,000 mountain bike. Are you freaking kidding me? That's insane. But
get there in Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But a young 24-year-old kid might be going, I've got a $1,000 car and an $8,000 mountain bike, and all I really care about is that mountain bike and making sure it's insured correctly, right? You know what I mean? So, all right, let's get into this. Okay, well, let me ask. So after Farmers, where do you go?
After Farmers,
what does the road look like?
We were very fortunate to have a window that we came into Farmers that we really were allowed to be entrepreneurs, anything. It was a very small window that they had. So our contract allowed for us to have an independent agency. Oh, wow. We had an independent agency for 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we had Commercial Insurance Group, and that was... They were in agreement with it because we promised we're honorable. If we say we're not placing an auto or home there, this was to accommodate all our commercial clients that we weren't able to because farmers had,
it was a smaller appetite for commercial.
Exactly. And sometimes they liked, those condominiums. The next year they didn't. And I'm sure it was their loss ratios that made them decide that. But boy, it would leave us with a fish in a hand and trying to figure out what to do. And so it made it nice that we were able to go into those arenas. And so our commercial appetite was more of the middle-sized companies, And Oscar's a great commercial agent. That's why he's a great commercial agent.
Yeah, he's got to come in tomorrow, sit in that office, and rub shoulders with
I think
the commercial lines department.
I think so.
All right, so post Farmers, you guys go straight into that commercial agency that you had created, or
post Farmers, we've always owned other businesses too. But post Farmers, we had decided to go into looking at maybe another aggregate that was taking over the servicing, and we would do the sales. And we went out there for a couple of weeks, and it wasn't a good fit. We didn't. We weren't in the same headspace. So you never really
got started with them. It was just kind of like false start, maybe kind of thing.
Yeah, that's. They were shocked when we decided not to go, and we said, no, you guys aren't a good fit.
Yeah.
So that's when I don't know how you yo-yos met. You and Oscar, all I could hear is talking to Sean back there, and he says, I got to tell you about a Sean. And I said, oh God, not another aggregator, please.
Oh boy. That's funny.
So I don't know how you two came.
I have no idea. I don't know how we bumped into each other.
Yeah.
Or how he found me.
Yeah.
Maybe he found me on insurance forums. I think that might have been the place.
He found you
I think that's how
somewhere.
he found me on insurance forums. We'd have to ask him. Okay. And since then, it's been great.
Since then, it's been great. Just a little different and getting your footing.
Yeah.
And COVID and employees didn't help.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm so thankful for it because it's really made us look outside, even the outside the box that we did at the way that we're hiring now and what we're doing now and how we're interviewing now. And everybody's got to change that whole hat. That needs to be changed.
It's true. I think a lot of stuff is changing. How many people do you have working at the agency with you guys?
4 right now.
4 right now.
And I'm probably going to get 2 overseas.
Yeah. VAs.
And the next thing, after we get that done, I definitely am looking at remote agents throughout the country.
Yeah.
I want to mix
at the very least around the state of Texas, for sure, I would think, right?
Right. I really think it's time for that. And I really think, I can work very happy from home.
Yeah.
Very productive.
Yeah.
And Oscar can't. He hates it.
He wants to go to his gorgeous office and sit there.
And that's what makes me think that, some people are a lot more productive. Like the problem I have at the office is everybody's in and out all the time.
Right.
So I really don't start my hardcore working till about 6 in the evening till about 9 at night. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We because they're in and out and they need you. They need you to answer questions. Right. Or now when you have the people that we're working with, a couple of them overseas, and then he's interviewing a couple of people today for U.S. agents.
Yeah.
So we're still in that learning stage of doing that, but
Wow.
we're going to kill it there. I know we're going to find our groove.
Have you guys used VAs in your other businesses outside of insurance?
No, but
Not yet.
I had a VA company that I was talking to Rex about the other day that early on, one of your agents was kind enough, I think in Houston or Dallas,
Okay.
to give me a name of a company.
Okay.
And they started out awesome. This is why I say, I say insurance is like basketball. You're pivoting, you're turning, you're going, you're coming back, scratch
Yeah,
the plan,
right,
you're doing this.
right.
That's what insurance is, and that's
Yeah.
what you're doing constantly. And that company started out doing I set up systems to where it was a balance and check. I could see the work they were doing, how long it took them to turn it over. But with COVID,
I know exactly who you're talking about. It's a thing that offers VAs up in Northern California, I think, right? I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's Brian Brockman who told you about that. I'm pretty darn sure that's what it was. He's in Dallas. Yeah.
And it really started to, what I noticed is business owners during COVID, either people had their staff understanding why they had to step up the game.
Yeah.
And other business owners, I mean, it could have been restaurants, any kind of businesses I noticed, that they allowed COVID to be a handicap and pretty much is breaking their company.
Right, right.
And that's what I feel is happening with that organization.
Yeah.
And it started out well,
Yeah.
but I mean, sometimes I would get no calls being answered sometimes, and it started out great. So, I mean, we're going to have to figure it
you
out.
just have to pivot and find another one that does the same thing, just differently.
Yep.
Yep, got it. All right, let's jump into this. Thoughts? I got to skip that one. Hold on. What do you do in social media that is so special? So first, how did you learn it? Did you just give it to Victoria and say, learn this?
Well,
or like what's going on in the social media world or on social digital platforms, digital targeting, all that kind of stuff that you guys have figured out? What are you guys doing super well?
Well, starting out, coming out, to be real honest with you, with Facebook, the first Facebook Oscar and I had was our dog. Because we had to have it for a business page.
Okay.
So we put Oliver on there. So actually Oliver's got a following.
That's funny.
And so then we were very adamantly against it. We're very private. We were very adamantly. Here comes Victoria, like a whirlwind. No. We're going to do everything new.
Yeah.
So she started with, I think going back to working with those baseball teams and really being aggressive about sales. And, she tells my staff all the time, heck, I used to have to do 160 calls a day. You guys are crybabies.
Wow.
She and I can go in there and solicit and pick up a phone and make things happen. And let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So she started to come in with an Instagram, started to come in with going and doing events and really, if she had realtors that she was trying to promote, we're big about promoting small businesses. We're on the Facebook and so she just started getting into the community and starting to try to help them, not just help us, but help them co-sponsor something. And she did a really neat thing just before COVID, our first year out. She did this hillbilly scavenger hunt. Now, in El Paso,
there's a bunch of hillbillies?
Not many. Not many.
Okay.
A lot of Mexicans, but not a lot of hillbillies.
Okay.
So she went and she said, the builders wouldn't speak to each other. Certain realtors and brokers wouldn't speak to each other.
I see.
There was, animosities between them, competition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what I think what Victoria's brought to the community there in El Paso is she's made them, hey, we're all in the same game.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all going to be contributing, sponsoring. We're all going to do this. So they get that last event that she had was so much fun because she got a kind of like a water hole and got the different builders and mortgage companies to put their plaques and everything out there. But what she did is she had them stop at different model homes for different builders.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And there was a scavenger hunt that came with it. Yeah. And so it was just a day of fun, a day of everybody was dressed in hillbilly gear.
That's funny.
And prizes were given because of that. They started out at, I think a bar in the morning. That would only be my daughter. A bar in the morning, picking everybody up there for the buses that would go and do the scavenger hunt all over the place. So they'd stop at brokerages. They'd stop at new model homes. They'd stop wherever that sponsor wanted them to stop is where they would stop. And there was prizes and there was things like that. And it's a ton of work. It takes a year to plan out something like that. So what has come out of that is that a lot of organizations will now ask her, will you MC? Will you? And she gets to bring Bundlebee with her, you know, wherever she's going on it. So she's kind of morphed that into her own thing, which I'm very proud of her for that. That's why I don't like when you should see the conversations of budgets and Bundlebee. That would make anybody want to drink. You should see them. And then they're alike.
Marketing budget conversation?
Oh, yeah. Oscar Dominguez is the money. What does she call him? She called him Chapo, or she calls him, look, Jefe, this is what I need. Daddy Warbucks is what he calls himself.
Right.
Yeah,
Daddy Dubs.
Yeah. So I step out of those conversations. I run out of them.
Yeah. I would think it would be expensive to do a big scavenger. I've never, ever heard of something like a scavenger hunt, but it sounds genius. You know, like line up the home builders and the lenders and everybody and get them to do
time. It's just
that actually sounds really smart.
Yeah, and they want to participate because she gets, you know, people. If she has an event like that, she gets people going. Yeah, and
provides a lot of alcohol.
And provides a lot of alcohol, and prizes. She likes, Notre Dame paid off, St. Mary's paid off. So here's my thing that I'm looking at in the insurance industry is that it's been so old and stuffy. That you kind of need that breath of these young kids coming in and marketing it. I agree. I mean, because Geico's a joke. You know, Progressive it's a joke with.
I said I agree at the wrong time.
No.
You said Geico's a joke, and I said I agree. And I went, wait,
advertising is joking.
Yeah.
Progressive is joking.
Oh, the Progressive ones make me cry so hard. I mean, like literally cry. I'm like, so funny.
They're not stuffy.
Oh, that's so good.
It's outside of the box and new branding. Yeah, so I think that's where she's going.
It's funny because I turned 42 in just like a month, you know.
Ya estás viejo.
Yeah, I know. It's like bien viejo. But it's funny because I don't feel old, obviously. I'm not old, obviously. But it's funny because I think about like the young kids who are getting into it, the 22-year-olds and the 23 and the 24-year-olds, and they're going to bring so much more to the industry. And it's really fun to see what they're doing to the industry, you know. And so
they just don't want to work the way that we worked, and they don't want to have conventional ways. And sometimes you can fit that into your business, and sometimes that's destructive. Right. So it's like that is a challenge now.
Right. It is interesting though, because like you said, sometimes it works really well. You get a young kid who's going, hey, I don't want to do it the way Bundlebee's doing it, but I can grow a $3 million book of business in 3 years if you let me go and let me do it. You know?
See, I would have been a person like that to say, if
I would have been too.
Just let me go. I'm a good person. I'll watch your back.
I'll work real hard and I'll get it all done. Don't worry. Yeah. And it'll all be fine, you know, so.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, how else do you guys fill your leads pipeline? I'm on 4D, just if you want to follow along. But how else do you guys fill your leads pipeline outside of your social media presence? You guys have parties at your place, don't you?
We built in fact, the year that farmers, I don't know that you knew this, announced in I think it was 2002 that they were pulling out of the state of Texas. Their homeowner market because of the mole claims. Yeah. So from 1 minute to the next, and Oscar was sitting on the committee in Austin, and he was sitting with the CEO.
I do remember that.
And we weren't able to they announced it in the Sunday paper. Yeah. And we had just built this beautiful building, $1 million building. Yeah. My daughters are getting ready to go to college.
Gorgeous brick building. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They call it. Everything comes to stops because of that. Yeah. And so I really feel like from there, we learned a lot. We learned this is not a place for just agents. This has to be a place that we're entertaining, you know, because that's why we went into commercial insurance group. And we said we need to go ahead and start going that independent market and start not depending on just personal lines with farmers.
Right.
And so thank God that resolved itself within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But that was a scary thing that always made us look at.
Like, oh, whoa, this could go bad on us. Even though we think it's a fail-safe industry, this could actually bite us if we're not careful.
And that's why CIG also came to pass.
Yeah.
Because of that.
To hedge your bet.
Yes.
To spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to your question, was,
how are you getting leads outside of social media?
we get leads from our professional friends.
Okay.
We have attorneys and we have financial planners. A lot of loan officers that we've done business with the years, brokers, the TikToks.
All El Paso?
90%,
95% El Paso?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 95%. We're beginning to get those relationships with, eventually Victoria will travel. She doesn't know yet, but this is what's going to happen to her. In her future, what she is going to do is she's going to go where in cities we want to be.
Yeah, right.
And she's going to go out there and do the same thing of cultivating those root cultivations with those loan officers and those successful brokers, things like that, that we want to go after. Because now, remember, a lot of the stuff that drives in our things is like the SEOs that we do. Victoria brought me this really cool company called Funnel Boost that kind of messed up, and they had to redo my whole web page for free. But they've been nice through the whole thing.
Wow.
And so it worked out to be great for me because now they take care of the web page. They take care of the SEO.
Yeah.
I really like them. They're really honest, great kids. Same, like-minded. Because if I talk to a company and they aren't mavericks, we're not going to work. Because I hate to come back and see if they're doing their job.
Right.
You know, and so she brought me that company, and so we're doing the SEOs that way, and of course Facebook and stuff with the banners and things like that. And there was another organization that came to us that, see, I don't know the tech, but I know what I want.
Right.
And so I was telling Oscar, you need to talk to this. I pawned it off on him.
Yeah.
Can you go figure this out for me?
I don't want to do this.
I got something to tell you. Can you go look at this? Well, he did. I mean, he said, it's like putting in puzzles. Funnel gave me an idea that it would be nice if there was an application that could be filled out online. And so then so happens is this company, Xylo, got a hold of me. And I love it. I love it because
Xylo?
Xylo.
Okay.
Xilo.
Okay.
They came and they said, the realtors really like using this.
Yeah.
They pre-fill this information. It goes directly into easy links.
Yeah.
So not all the information is correct, but we automatically get an alert that, hey, somebody's filling this out.
Right.
And then we jump in on the call with them. So that's been
say,
another.
hey, I see you're filling this out. Can we help you through this process?
Yeah,
I love
help
it.
you with that. So we get right to those calls as well. I'm trying to think of what else. That, we just get a lot of referrals. By the grace of God, we really do. Get a lot of people that, and it goes back to when our presentation on, like when you said, you know, what do you all do to avoid any type of, because remember, we were a large farmers agency, and I pride myself that in all those years, we never had a lawsuit of coverage that someone claimed that we were supposed to have or that they didn't understand it. And I think the biggest mistake that agents make is early on, I would sit there with Oscar and say, okay, well, this is a hurting point. The Mexico coverages. We're having to turn down claims. Why? You can't pass over that border more than 10 times in that vehicle. And don't go within or outside of those 25 miles. So I got tired of people, well, you never told me that. So, okay, well, here's a sheet that now there.
Here's the things we now tell you.
Limits of liability. I didn't know I didn't have that. Or what are the other things? Towing rental. I didn't know I had that. So I think to my younger self, I would have said, have those things. And I don't know that you would have known it. But have those things already.
It's tricky to build processes when you don't know what things can bite you in the bum until those things happen, and then you go, okay, I'll build a process for that now, right?
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Absolutely so. So with our autos, coming out of the gate when you're giving a quote and collecting information, there's a script.
Yeah.
And that script is so that you hit everything that we need because that discovery page needs to be correctly filled. Then after that, the coverages, the way they're explained, that's a system too. And so we make sure that we've offered all those coverages. And even when they're signing their paperwork, they're signing that they were explained these limits of liabilities, these coverages, and the coverages we have them listed out, the Mexico coverage, the towing, the rental. So there's nothing there that hasn't been totally disclosed to them.
Right.
And so that's what I would say to younger agents is to get your systems on that down.
Yeah, that is tricky though, because a younger agent would say, okay, then Loretta, what are all the places I need a system so that I can't mess up, you know? Does that make sense?
And it goes back to me on the younger people. Really, if before starting out, like before starting out as an independent agent, I think that they should take some time and work with
absolutely
an agent and get mentored.
100%. Because then they can see what the Bundle B Insurance Agency does and goes, oh yeah, that's actually a really good process. If I ever were to go start my own thing, I'll do a process like that. Or they've already, they can learn from an agency that's been around 38 years and spend 2, 3, 4, 10 years with you and go, okay, cool. I figured out a lot of great stuff.
And and Oscar and I are very open to equity to young people, because you have to remember, I mean, he's 65 now,
right?
And I'm still 41. But
how he got you, I don't know.
That's what I've been saying.
That's what I've been saying.
You know what? He's got a guardian angel or something there. I don't know. And so my thing is that instead of them coming out, like I look at the agents within El Paso.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to target them and bring them in for their own good, they'd be thankful after we did it, because they would be mentored correctly.
Right.
They'd know their coverages.
Yep.
They'd
see what beautiful processes are. This is how you have a buttoned up insurance agency.
Exactly. And this, and you have to do that. If you're thinking about having agents working in your office, outside of your office, you better have those systems in place, because if not, you're not going to, you're going to spend all your time in the recoil.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to spend it.
Yeah.
And we're not the agency for everyone.
Right.
I'm not the agency if you don't have prior insurance. I'm not the agency if you want to carry lower limits of liability, because we don't sell on price. You sell on education.
Right.
You sell on being a trusted advisor.
Right.
It's like an onion. You're constantly pulling it apart, because every single one of your clients is different.
Yep.
And so since I'm nosy, that's why I love insurance too, because I know their whole story.
You're like, I thought you said you owned a really nice $8,000 mountain bike. How on earth? Yeah, exactly. Very, very good. Okay, I want to hear your funniest story that you've run across in the insurance industry.
Oh man, I have
the funniest.
No, I have like 3 of them that are funny, but super funny, but I'm gonna see how many I can do fast.
Okay.
So does it have to be in the insurance industry, or can it be in
it has to be in the insurance industry. I prefer to have it be like insurance, like claims, like it can be office stuff too, but I'd rather it be like insurance stuff. I don't want necessarily like one time we played this joke on Oscar and it was really funny. I got one for you.
I got one for you. There was one of our mentors and farmers was a gentleman who decided to come in at 50 years old. Okay. He was quite a character. Yeah. Cutie. And so anyway, he started to tell us a story. We went down to Austin to get mentored on kind of his systems. I still implement a lot of his systems. And so he said, young lady, one day, my wife and I, my beautiful wife, and they were now in their 70s,
Wow.
And we were out skiing. Watch skiing.
Right.
And we ran into the most lovely couple, and we had to share a private plane. And this poor young man, he had long hair, and he just was scraggly. And I said, son, you've got to get a job. This young lady's going to expect you to bring an income home, and it's time for you to grow up. Oh. Son, I got a perfect career for you.
Right.
You need to become an insurance agent. And so they talked, took pictures afterwards, exchanged addresses and everything like that. And it was Eddy Van Halen.
Are you serious?
And Valerie Bertinelli. That was the story that went through.
It was the 70-year-old guy telling Eddy Van Halen that he needed a job and should become an insurance agent.
Yes. He was so cute when he was telling that
story. Now that's a great story. That's what I've been dying for. So every single one of these podcasts, I ask for a funny story. And I always get kind of like, this and that. And I'm always like, these are pretty good. But this is a great story.
No, but
somebody tried to convince Eddy Van Halen to become an insurance agent.
But let me tell you one that Victoria did recently, pulled to Oscar, that was really good, though.
Was it the lip one?
Yes. Did you see
I've
that?
Seen it. Yeah. But tell it. I want you to tell it.
No,
It's
I mean,
hilarious.
it was just that it was
it was hilarious.
It was, she sent me a picture, and it
was
my
hilarious.
plastic surgeon
messed
partner,
up or something.
Yeah, he's behind her, and he's like,
hey.
Are you doing? And looking at this picture, she says, Dr. Jaber says it looks great.
No, it doesn't at all.
So she comes into the office, and I should have realized that they were filming me. One of the girls there in the office, that they were doing that.
Your reaction versus...
because it looked sickly real. And so when Oscar comes in,
he freaked out.
Yeah. He's all, oh my goodness, Victoria, what were you thinking you were doing? I'm going to call Jaber but she does that stuff to him all the time. He's on his phone, and she tortures him. And he doesn't, since he has no social media knowledge, he doesn't know what we do to him.
Right. So he doesn't even realize that was a thing.
He doesn't know we do anything to him. He doesn't realize that he gets out and people are like, oh, you're Victoria's
people know
dad.
who he is. And
he has no idea.
He's been seen 50,000 times in El Paso. And that's funny. That's funny. So just so the audience knows, Victoria did on TikTok, she somehow glued her lip to her...
She took eyelash glue, and then she
glued her lip, her top lip up to higher,
and it looked like
it looked horrible.
Hugely
and it looked
injected.
Like it'd been injected with Botox or something, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like it had gone horribly wrong, because you could imagine what your lip would look like if you glued it to your upper lip or whatever.
All you could see was her teeth. She was.
It was so ridiculous.
She's an idiot.
I remember watching it and just being like, "Oh my gosh, that looks so bad." And then I also thought, "Man, people do this." And then I also thought Oscar's getting teased, and if I was the dad, and I am a dad, and I'm freaking out on so many different levels, it was pretty funny.
Their personalities are alike, so they antagonize each other.
Right.
And I let them at it. I mean, they look alike, they act alike, so they deserve each other.
Yeah.
I just get to sit back and watch.
Yeah. Good. That was funny. I like that. Eddy Van Halen becoming an insurance agent. Okay. So how about the story that it was the most sentimental story, though? So where you provided enough counsel or enough coverage or whatever, I just went to a conference in Texas, and I listened to this life guy, Jack Jameson, who's a famous little, I shouldn't say famous little, he's a super famous farmer's guy teaching people how to sell life. And he told these amazing emotional stories about selling life insurance and it being awesome to show up and say, I'm sorry somebody died, but here's a big check, right?
Yeah.
Not that fixes everything. But, so do you have any stories on the PNC side? They don't even have to be emotional stories, but where you went, I'm so glad we sold them uninsured motorist because ... or yada, yada, yada. And you went, this is what our agency does. We do it every single time because we do it. When this bad situation happened, we turned out to be the shining star insurance agency.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we had those systems in place, is that we don't want to not have
the reactive problem.
A good outcome is something, it's planning for the worst so it comes out better.
Right.
And that's the education of them. But one of the ones that I had, and this is why one of the reasons why I did love farmers, they were a class act.
Yeah.
One of the times I had a gentleman that I had them insured. We'd had them insured since their son was 1 year old.
Yeah.
And we had their house, we had their life, we had everything. And the son committed suicide in the den.
Oh, no.
And farmers didn't really have a coverage, didn't really have, in that same time, I had a man who had a massive stroke.
Yeah.
And in his home. So what farmers decided to do at that time was to consider those and change their verbiage a little bit in their contracts to read that it would cover that under vandalism. So if someone were to have passed away and they felt they needed to clean that house and to get as much out of that, painful situation, we were very instrumental in asking them, isn't there coverage
to create some sort of verbiage to help with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Oscar really, there's one that recently happened.
Because now policies have language for that, right?
Yeah, and
but back then they probably
did not.
Yeah. So it was nice to have farmers work with you to come up with some sort of language or version of coverage.
They've done good with doing that.
That's always the tricky part of being in the insurance industry and doing and having this awesome career, right, that we absolutely love and we have a lot of fun with, and we do TikToks and we do podcasts and we have fun and we market in a lot of crazy fun ways. But at the end of the day, there's really serious implications of how well we do our job, right?
One of the things that we implemented about 30 years ago was a relationship with another real estate probate attorney. He's out of Chicago, and he's fantastic. And he normally charges $1,000 to do a will, a living will, and a durable power of attorney.
I see.
So when we sell houses, one of the things, I was so tired of people losing people and they didn't have their important paperwork put together, that we asked him, will you give us a package for our clients that's a discount? Well, he's so kind that he'll allow our clients to go in for a first consultation, and most of them get their will, their living will,
taken care of in the first consultation.
And what's so funny, we've been doing that for 30 years now. So even during COVID, when our farmers' clients, we didn't announce we were leaving farmers. We weren't allowed to. But they came back looking for us because they lost family members or they were on, life support systems and stuff, and they remembered we had told them. And so it was so pretty to be able to take our old farmers' clients and say, get over there to Bobby immediately.
I love
this is what you need to do.
So
you're a trusted advisor. I mean, we have a lot of fun, but be genuine.
Yes.
Part of the community. It takes a lifetime to live a character. And it takes only a minute to lose it. So always be a class act.
I love this, Loretta. That's a really great idea as well, to line up. You're a first-time home buyer. Things in life are getting really real now, but you're young. There are some things that you need to line up so that, now that you're getting some real assets and now that you're accumulating some stuff, you got to set this all right. So if the worst thing happens, everybody's taken care of.
With the young kids that think that they want to purchase online and do everything, when you start talking to them and doing relationships and stuff, they are the ones that are the hungriest for that education.
For that consultation.
And that consultation. So it's so funny when they say, I don't have time. Okay. Well, let me know when you have time. Call me. Call me, holla.
I love it. Okay. Agency ownership, how would you define it? Great, bad, hard, difficult, always on? How would you define agency ownership, entrepreneurial life?
I am a person who loves change and loves challenge and loves difficulty and thinks you learn a lot through it. So I run to it. I love it. I love it. And you better learn to love it. Because life's going to change. So you like the lifestyle of pivoting and adjusting and changing and... In this day and age, I don't know if I started loving it or I just decided not to hate it and adapt it and use it. And so one of the problems that I see people do is, I don't want to tell that person that coverage doesn't have it. How about explain to that person, we did our job, and they don't have that coverage because they chose not to. Because they elected not to have it. But delivering bad news is part of life. Facing difficult situations is part of life. Changing, this whole thing with employees and the way we're going to do this, this is part of life. So if you sit there, coiled back, afraid of doing it, how about go out there and bust some butt and say, I'm going to own it. Let's go. Yeah, let's go get it. It's new. It's weird. Let's go find out how to do it. And it's a headspace. In a business, you have to come out saying, this family ain't losing. That's not an option. We're going. So how many other kids do you got outside of Victoria? There's one other daughter? Just one other daughter. That's what I thought. Okay, cool. All right. Favorite carrier? Why? This isn't to suggest that the other carriers you don't love all the carriers, but who's your favorite carrier? Favorite carrier is going to be Travelers. Travelers, wow. They're two reps that they gave us coming out the gate. I just had lunch with dinner with the first Joffrey that was assigned to us. And then they've since moved into commercial. But I said, if you're ever in El Paso, let's go have dinner. And so, he took us up on it last week. And so we got to meet him face to face. Great conversation with commercial and with that. Now Michael that took over, Michael's different because Michael is, let me plug you in on this report so we can see your cross sales over here. He's very engaged. So that's what I like about him. I had a rep that came out and I told Oscar, unfortunately Oscar wasn't there and he was a meanie weenie and I told him, you have to go. Not from Travelers, just from some carrier. From another carrier, So he's pushing too hard. He just... he was, you know what, Men, I was talking to Oscar about this the other day. What I truly appreciate about PGI, because I've been in many businesses. Either it's not that you treat women differently. It's that you treat them as an equal.
Sure.
And so there has never been a resistance within PGI, within other organizations that I felt like they didn't equally respect the wife's opinion. And that happens a lot. In other words, there was one organization that I was president of, and I'm writing the CEO, and he didn't even have the courtesy to answer my questions that we had.
He just went to Oscar.
He didn't do anything.
Oh, really? He didn't even respond to your letter?
No. And if he did respond, he'd respond to him. And I think that that's when you're working with or trying to find a cluster or an aggregator, it was thought that we were automatically going to go with this one that we'd been with for 17 years. It was like, what do you mean you're not going to go with this?
Yeah.
And my pet peeve was, I haven't seen you move. You guys are fat and happy.
Yeah, right.
And, that's not going to work for us. We're mavericks.
We're movers and shakers.
We want to go. And so I'll always be a blessing to whoever I join the boat with, as my family will, because that's our integrity level. But they also have to be a blessing to us.
Yeah.
And the one thing that you guys have always been is a class act when it came to the women in business.
Yeah.
You don't have to coddle. Like sometimes businesses will come in and over coddle or feel like they have to feel guilty or because they have to give more attention to women. No, it's just fair. Equal, both. We're both accessible.
Sure.
And I think you guys do a fantastic job of that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm interested in what the meanie weenie rep was doing. You know what's crazy to me? The only reason why I'm interested in going down this road just a little bit further is because it's always interesting to me. At the end of the day, the rep is going to walk out of a door that says Bundle B Insurance Agency. Right? Bundle B Independent Insurance Agency. So they can sit there and push and push and push and give me, and I need more. And it's like, okay. But you're going to walk out at least a door or two and then see the sign on my building that says, I'm an independent insurance agent. Like the market is going to dictate where things go. If your platform's easy, it's going to dictate where things go. If you're priced right, it's going to dictate where things go. If you accept flat roofs, it's going to dictate where things go. If your underwriter and customer service are great, it's going to dictate where things go. And you can be a meanie weenie sitting in here in my office, but your carrier doesn't do some of those things.
Well,
and so what do you want me to do? The door says independent on it.
It was just beyond me. You know what I think is that sometimes the older generation of men, they tend to be a good old boy chain. And I don't know how to describe that to you, but coming in, you see, I don't have an average office. I have a very nice
gorgeous office.
And class people that work with me, and you're coming in and you're just being a blowhard, like because you don't see a male there, you're coming in and acting like you're going to talk down to us about how many years have Victoria and I been in the insurance industry. We understand coverages, we understand contracts.
We understand what's going on in our office.
But just did not at all. We just did not at all click. Because you and I, we never have a problem.
I can't imagine not clicking with Loretta or your daughter. For that matter.
But that's sometimes it's just the old generation of the good old boy, and that was kind of like the same thing that we had with that cluster we were with. It was that generation, that type of era that said we're already doing it right, honey. Why do we have to change it this way?
We're not going to change it.
We're not going to change it.
It's all fine.
I said, okay, you're fine. I got to go.
We got to go find something else.
And it's like, peace. Okay. We're going.
All right. This next one is a tricky question. What's the salesiest sales pitch your guys' agency does, if you even do one? But no. Every time I ask this question, nobody gives me a legit answer. Like, we say this really salesy thing. But what's the salesiest sales pitch you guys do as an agency?
No, our tagline.
Okay, what is it?
Tagline, baby, getting you the sweetest rate.
Is what we do. Baby getting you the sweetest rate?
I just tell them getting you the sweetest rate. But if it's my friends, like, baby, come on. Getting you the sweetest rate.
Yeah.
That's our tagline.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say that's pretty darn salesy. What about somebody who's like, well, I found it cheaper over at somebody else's insurance agency. I think I'm going to go this route. State Farm was more affordable, so I'm going to go the State Farm route. Do you bust out a salesy little sales line, or do you just go, okay, see ya, bye?
No, one of the things that I think is important is, again, the relationship before you ever give them the price.
Yeah.
Tell them who you are.
Yeah.
Tell them what you represent. Tell them, how you're different.
Yeah.
And if you don't lay that ground rule, they're going to, when they call back.
I agree. Everything you just said, I agree with.
When they call back, if you're
it has nothing to do with the price.
No.
It has nothing to do with the price. It has everything to do with the value that your agency is going to provide.
And that they like you.
Yeah, and that they like you. But it's funny that you say, like you said, when we close a policy, we put them in touch with a lawyer that helps them get their estate in order. Mm-hmm. That's what your agency does. No other agency does that. And so or very few do that, I should say, but that makes you unique. When you come to Bundlebee, you're going to get 42 unique things, and you're not going to get those 42 unique things with the agency that you're going to because you're saving an extra $10 a month.
That's my point.
Yeah.
You won't find the added value that we bring.
That's right.
We're trusted advisors. So another thing that we have been advising them about is also their credit rating. They need to always constantly clean that up because they can help themselves. Mm-hmm. So Oscar came across a book early on, maybe about early when we started Bundlebee. He said, I'm looking at this credit rating stuff, and boy, people better start cleaning that up. And really, it's so hinged on their rate.
Yeah, sure.
So, one of the added values is the attorneys and the relationships that we have, the wills and stuff like that. But another one that we explain to them is credit secrets. Mm-hmm. That there's another very important aspect that they can take responsibility for their credit. Mm-hmm. And they can help because credit card companies and insurance companies do those soft hits, right? Mm-hmm. And so you can control those soft hits by either controlling that they can't do it or more so just cleaning up your I wanted to try to give you an example. I wanted to try it after Oscar gave it to me because I wanted to explain it to clients and explain it to the staff. There's templates in there. Yeah. Say, for example, someone has several addresses. They've lived several. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They don't say Sean Walker. It says Sean Michael Walker. Right. Sean M. Walker. Right? So
all the time.
A lot of times on your credit rating, they're listed several times and several addresses that aren't yours.
Right.
So you start doing this template and you start cleaning those things up and automatically
your credit score starts jumping.
Wow. And I've seen it happen over and over again that it helps people on their next renewal on their rate for their auto and their home. So again, these are added value you're not going to get down the road. And that's why our retention always with farmers was about 94%.
That's incredible.
And ours is the problem coming out of the gate with us right now with Bundlebee is we were learning, we were going, we weren't cross-selling the way that we needed to. Now I've changed all that out. Oscar's put some very strict guidelines in, and you're seeing our cross ratio, really blooming now because you're not going to retain those people without cross-selling that
with more product lines.
Yeah, you're not going to do that, and added value things. And so if you don't give yourself a value and explain the difference between you and the guy down the street, how are they supposed to know?
Yeah,
if you don't take out the time, and that's part of a script I have.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I always use the example of Chick-fil-A, and they do 42 more things than any other fast food restaurant does. So I find myself going to Chick-fil-A more frequently because I'm accustomed now to wanting those extra 42 added value things that I get from Chick-fil-A that I don't get from McDonald's, right? Or whatever brand, it doesn't matter. And so, if you can teach your clients from their very first interaction with Bundlebee, this is what you're going to get from us. This is how we're going to interact with you. This is how we're going to educate you. This is how we're going to ... And
I promise to do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Then suddenly they're going, I don't care if I have to pay an extra $1 for my chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A.
I tell them you should have to pay more for me.
Exactly. Versus my value dollar chicken sandwich over at McDonald's, where it's I'll take a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich every single time.
There's enough people out there that I can write.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody else will find my value.
That's right. That's exactly right. Very cool. Proactive outreach to clients versus reactive on renewals. How do you guys work your renewals?
One of the reasons why I'm looking at doing that outside Oscar and I were talking about this the other day. I feel like we need to do more. We do automatically go after the increases 15% or more.
Okay.
But even that 15%,
which
it has
seems
to
very
be,
normal. That's where most people draw that line.
And if it's $150, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. We'll maybe try to cross-sell them or something like that. But I think that we have to farm out individuals that are constantly watching those numbers, constantly reshopping.
Yeah.
Like the customer service that comes in, even if I have it going out off-site, we take the call.
Sure.
We set the expectation.
Sure.
We do the change sheet. It's just done over there, given back to us.
Right.
We explain it.
Right.
So I think that interaction with people constantly is important.
Yeah.
That you don't hand that over to a call center. That's the first thing. And the second thing is being proactive, that they say, one of the things that's in the script that I have is that you're paying us to be your broker for life.
Yeah.
I'm your broker for life. So
I like that.
if something else is...
So don't leave me. You don't got to go anywhere. I'll take care of all this.
And I always tell them, the game is changing all the time.
Yeah.
Look at that storm, that great storm. I watched it, and I watched it.
Yeah, the ice storm.
It was 3 days of
That's crazy.
storms, $195 billion. How's that not going to affect the insurance industry and the different carriers?
It absolutely is.
And how are they going to know
is.
that unless we tell them that?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
So this just lazy
They'll say, well, my
salespeople.
house didn't freeze. I didn't cause any loss. And you're going, yeah, I understand that.
It happened to 4 million houses.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're all a large pool.
And we're all a large pool. That's exactly right. Do you use any technology to proactively outreach to clients, like texting technology or anything like that? What do you guys use?
I mean, anything that's new that we can integrate technology-wise, I am huge into AI and using it any which way we can.
Yeah.
But we early on did the zip whip after coming to the meeting that you guys had us. We did the like the Xylo, the stuff like that. That's easier to deal with us like that. We started now with Podium, and that's going to be for the Google.
I hear Podium. Is it Podium? I know what you're talking about. I think it is. Is it Podium?
Took over Zip Whip.
I don't know. They're in Utah, right? Is it? It is Podium.
It is Podium.
Yeah. That's an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, because what they're doing is you can do the messaging through there. You
Are
can
they
do
the
it
ones
through-
who bought ZipWhip?
Yes, they are.
Interesting.
But my Zip Whip is still working. That's what's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm paying them both right now, but I'm afraid of pulling the plug on Zip Whip
yeah.
because our clients use it all day long.
Yeah.
They use it. So you can do we've done the text messaging.
It is Podium.
And Podium's doing the text messaging too.
Yeah. And AI.
Yeah. And so I'm interested in understanding what your guests, those two guys that I think they were farmers agents.
Yep.
I'm interested in understanding what that
Brian
great
Blair,
element.
my arch enemy, and Matt Hahn.
Válgame.
Agency Elephant. Yeah. So
Elephant.
they have that text messaging stuff built into that platform as well. Super foxy little platform. And they're two guys that just go, what do you need? And let's get on a phone call and let's spend as much time as we need to get it figured out.
So they can
really
see.
cool.
That's what I like about it. If they can
Really cool
customize
stuff.
it.
Yeah, they
for
can.
you,
Yeah.
instead of just selling you all these.
They can. So you can, basically any kind of automated touches, you can do it. So policies coming up for renewal 160 days out, boom, it's just automated. And every single renewal, something goes out at 160 days before the renewal. And you can set it up any way you want. We just wrote a policy with you. It's been 30 days. We just want to make sure you electronically signed your application, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So it all sets up all of that on an automated platform. So you don't have to touch any of that stuff.
I probably need to hook them up with Oscar, and we need to talk to
Yeah,
them.
talk to Matt Hahn, because Brian Blair's a horrible, horrible person.
Really? I'm
Yeah,
gonna let him know
really
that.
bad guy.
I'm going to let him know that. Sean.
Which, of course, is a joke.
Seanito says. Seanito Miguel
really, really
says.
No, it's just a running joke. So, okay. So, good. Okay. Very last question. Ready? Mm-hmm. You're shocked, right? It's been easy. It's been smooth and easy, right?
You're easy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, very last question. What would you tell young Loretta?
Not to worry so much.
Oh, I
fine.
like that. I
It's gonna
love
work
that
out
answer,
just
actually.
fine.
I remember being a young adult, like 26, 27, having a wife and a kid or two and a mortgage and going, oh, and I was stressed out. Like, what if life takes some crazy wild turn and I'm not prepared for it? And I'm a dad with kids and I have a wife and I remember somebody saying to me, like, everything's gonna be fine. Like, life just doesn't fall off the rails most of the time and destroy people, you know? So you'll be fine. Stop stressing out so much about it and enjoy the ride.
Oddly enough, it was Victoria that taught me that. She said, you know, she's always had that attitude. It's gonna work out fine.
Yeah.
At the end, it's gonna work out the way it needs to work out. Yeah. So, yeah, turd taught me something.
So
I can't say bad words.
Did you say one? You said turd?
Yeah.
Turd's not a bad word.
Okay, there you go.
You can actually say, well,
what I call her normally? Hemorrhoid?
You could you could say that too.
Yeah, she is.
Anything else? Would you tell Loretta anything else? Young Loretta?
Oh, yeah. I would have told young Loretta to have trusted her instincts more when she was bothering young Oscar and on leaving farmers. I would have done it a long time
We should do this
ago.
sooner.
No,
and my instincts are telling me to leave now.
And I'm so thankful.
5 years into this, not 20 years into this.
Oh, I am so thankful because we had a beautiful relationship. They were so welcoming with us.
Yeah.
And I have nothing good to say.
Nothing bad to say. Yeah.
Nothing bad to say. It was such a great relationship.
Yeah.
But it just really is a totally different game now. And it breaks my heart to see these guys putting their blood, sweat, and tears, because I know I did.
Yeah.
I know I tore apart every which way that I could make that model work.
Yeah.
And Oscar would, we'd sit there analyzing it, and two people could not figure out how we could make it work anymore. So it was very painful for us to decide to leave farmers. But my young self, I would have told him, trust your instincts, and you should have left 15 years ago. You know,
I was just eating breakfast the other day with an old high school friend of mine, and he's gone independent. He's been independent for like maybe 2 years tops. And he just goes, you just don't know, you know? And when you, like he said, it's just a completely different paradigm. You know, I went from my best years of being captive writing, you know, $300,000 a year or $400,000 in written premium a year. He's like, now I'm writing over $1 million a year. And it's not, and I'm not even tapped out. I could go more. I could go harder and faster and bigger.
What took us, sadly, 35 years to do, I'm guesstimating, Oscar's guesstimating, that we'll do it in 5.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you have to also put the disclaimer.
Yeah.
You guys are an important part of that, because I've been in others that wouldn't have been the case.
Oh, I see.
So you have to be very selective of the type of person you are and who you work best with.
Yeah.
Because you can have a cluster that's very difficult and fights against you and makes it harder, or we're all going to win. And that's, you guys have the mindset that we do. Hey, the sun shines for everyone. We're all going to win at this game.
Yeah. Lots of sand on the beach. We can all share the sand,
exactly right? Exactly right.
All right, Loretta. This has been amazing. Is there anything else you want to say to the entire world before we shut this thing down?
Hi, Bundlebee.
Hey, Bundlebee Office. It's an amazing brand. It's an amazing agency. I hope you've loved the show. I hope you've loved your time with Loretta. And please get in touch with us. Hit the like button. Leave a comment.
Hit the like
Tell Loretta how much you loved her content. And we'll see y'all later. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, y'all. Premier Group Insurance is providing this podcast for informational uses only. This podcast should not be relied on as legal or medical advice. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Premier Group Insurance. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsement to them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Premier Group Insurance employees, i.e. Sean Michael Walker, are those of the employees and do not necessarily reflect the view of Premier Group Insurance. Copyright 2022. Premier Group Insurance, Inc., all rights reserved.